Let's do it.
We know how to do this, Debbie. Okay, everybody, we are here. This is the real Romi, and I have the one and only Rose Garcia. Welcome,
Yes,
Rose.
yes.
For those of you that don't know, I'm going to bring you in. I have questions. Rose has got to go sell some $1 million homes, so I have a very short amount of time with her. But Rose Garcia and I did the L word together, the real L word together. We have been friends for many moons, and we even, I don't know why I got dark, Debbie. And then we even did our own podcast together, the Romi and Rose show, for a good amount of time, right?
That
Like,
was so much fun, by the way.
we were hot messes.
It was the best.
It was so much fun. We've traveled together. We've done parties together. We share the same last name, Garcia's. It is Hispanic Heritage Month. You saw I got in a Viva Latina book. I'm
Oh, I
representing
love
for us.
that.
I know. I was like so excited. The reason I wanted to have you on, obviously, is I've caught up with you. I've seen you when we have time. Everyone's watched your journey. You've been very open about, like you and I are, about your journey over the past few years. So I really wanted to jump in, and I have some hard Oprah questions for you, Rose
Let's do
Garcia.
it. Let's
Okay,
do it.
let's just open up with, where are you now? For those of you, like, where is life at right now?
Life is good. I'm going to Dinah tomorrow, so life is great. Nothing's changed, Deb. It's been 150 years.
Why
And
are
I'm
they still
still,
inviting your old ass to Dinah? Tell me.
I've tried to retire, and Mariah's like, honey, the young kids still love you. You're
They
still a
won't let you
thing.
go.
They won't let me go, Deb. Hold on, even last year, cancer ridden, they were like, no, bitch, get on stage. You're
Wait,
an
didn't
inspiration.
you go while you were in the midst of, like, really fighting everything? Weren't you at Dinah or no?
I did. I have not missed. I did not miss. So I literally was cancer free July, and I went to Dinah that October.
Debbie, you posted this morning a baby picture of you with your short hair and said you're pissed that you have the same hair for Dinah.
Deb, same hair, same hair.
Okay, so Dinah Shore, fine. You're going to be going there in your wheelchair. Your 20-year-old girlfriend will
I'm
meet you
ready to
there.
go. I'm ready to
Everyone
go.
will make you get there. You're still selling homes. You're killing it. You're balling, right? Work never
Yeah,
stopped. Never stopped.
it's no. So, while I was ill, I had this full-fledged business, obviously, as you know, and I'm pretty much a workaholic, but I love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work. And when I got the diagnosis, it was like, we're entrepreneurs, we're self-employed. If you don't get up and go to work, you can't feed your kid, right? Like, you can't pay your rent. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
So similar situation for me. I had a choice because I did establish a substantial amount of savings. So I could have taken, 2 or 3 years off and been okay,
Right.
maybe even longer. But I made a choice to where if I let the illness win and compromise my life, that I'm sort of like succumbing to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The prognosis I was given wasn't the
That's what I was gonna
best.
ask. Can you
Yeah,
let
it was.
anyone viewing, like, right now, that doesn't exactly know, what were you diagnosed with, and what did that look like for you, hearing that, just before we get into it?
So just because I know a lot of women tune in, I had zero symptoms, nothing. I was getting a little bloated, and at the time I used to drink a lot. So I thought, like, oh my God, maybe I had too much wine last night. And then it was the next day. Maybe, I ate something, and I just kept making excuses for this weird bloat.
Mhm.
And we're women, it could be one of 20 things in our
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And at the age that I was thinking, maybe I'm premenopausal. I don't know. What is this?
Yep.
And finally, I had went out to an event, a holiday event, and I did drink a lot. The next morning, I woke up and the bloating was like double the size that it was the day before.
Mhm.
And Sophia, my partner, was like, "We're going to urgent care. This doesn't seem right." When I go to urgent care, the doctor's like, "No, I need to send you to emergency. They need to do a CT scan and check you a little bit more invasively than I can." Go in, they do an ultrasound. By the look of the doctor, I can tell she found something. And my grandmother had, ovarian cancer, as you're aware,
Yep.
while we were filming our show.
Yep.
So I kind of knew that it was something cancerous. Like you just know, like I got that feeling. And they had me do a CT. The attending physician just gave me a business card of an oncologist and said, I can't diagnose exactly what those tumors are, but they are on your ovaries. Here's a business card. Call this guy tomorrow. There you go. You're on your own. So then I was sent home to like ponder, am I going to die tonight? Like what's going
Right.
on?
Right.
I went through a series of doctors, this, that, here, there. I wasn't diagnosed until I ended up in surgery. So this bloating persisted during the holidays, and I went to see the top physician on the east side, and his oncology nurse was like, look, he has appointments in the next 3 weeks, but this looks pretty serious. Just check yourself into emergency at our hospital, and I will put you on his list for him to go see you. And that's what I did. I waited for 12 hours, got into emergency, and got admitted. The next morning at 6 a.m., he came over to me and he's like, you're on my surgery list. I don't even know who you are. But
Like
my
instantly
nurse,
they wanted to put you in and get you
the
in.
nurse like hooked it up. She's like, I'm throwing you in because if not, you're going to, she didn't know how serious it was, but by seeing other folks, she knew it was bad. So he looked at me and he's like, I can't diagnose you until we drain this fluid and we test it.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm going to drain you and we're going to test the fluid to see if it's malignant. So he's like, if it gets bad and it comes back, come back to emergency. 2 days later, I was back in emergency. It was the day after New Year. So it was like holiday. There wasn't a lot of staff. It was crazy. And the doctor comes in and he's like, I still don't have the results back, but I'm going in. I'm gonna put you on the surgery list. In the next 24 hours, we're gonna have surgery. And I'm
Thank
like,
God.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next day, at 4 p.m., they wheeled me out. And right before I was about to be put into the surgery room, the doctor's like, the tests came back, it's malignant. So I know what I'm going in for. It's like, I know I'm going to go in to get some cancer out. This is what I do. This is my job. I promise you, I'm going to do the best that I possibly can, but just know that we're the best team. He like really gave me a lot of encouragement. So I went from like, oh my God, what the hell's going on, to like, fuck yeah, let's do this, mentality right
Yeah.
before I went under, which I think was amazing. And when I woke up and I was in my recovery room, the doctor came and he's like, look, I don't believe in stages, but you are stage 3C, which is really late. And he's like, I've had people pass in stage 1 and survive in stage 4. We don't know your cancer journey. We don't know what it's going to be. All I can tell you is that I got out as much as I could, and we're going to have to let chemo do the rest. And your mentality and your outlook on this is going to be the defining factor on, how you handle this.
That's going to be a little bit of the questions I want to ask you, because as you first of all, you make me want to cry, because if I lost you, and all of us who would lose you, would like, it's just, even hearing you say it, Debbie, it's hard to
it's crazy.
Hard to hear that you say those words. And I remember when you did tell me, I was in tears. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what? Right? We've lost people to cancer. It's real for us. When we hear those, it becomes real. I lost my father.
And it's triggering because, like you said, you lost your father.
It's so triggering.
It's a triggering feeling. You associate cancer with death, as I did.
Yeah, of course. I don't know the success. So when I remember my father was at the later stages, they gave him 3-year span, and he was dead within a year. Right. So it was I didn't know what to prepare myself. And for you, when you said, when the doctor gave you that, I think that's a really beautiful idea. He doesn't know. Right. And when he said it is your mental space, that was what I'm most intrigued with, because you are someone surviving it. Right. And I know
he set me up for success, but my chemo doctor was another story. Because when I walked in to get chemo, all amped, positive, super happy that I have a fighting chance.
Yep.
He was like, if this doesn't work, your cancer is so aggressive and it's moving so fast from the numbers pre-surgery, post-surgery. I had to wait a month and a half to recover before I can do chemo. and the numbers were staggeringly aggressive. That he
You said
said
they gave you like, what was that time frame?
7 months.
Yeah. Fuck
He
that,
said
Debbie.
you have 7 months if the chemo doesn't work and your cancer outpaces the chemo response, you have 7 months to live.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell me this, and for anyone listening, because anyone listening who might get diagnosed, right? We never fucking know. We don't know. Anyone, this is the world that we live in, the reality. What is it what shifted for you mentally and spiritually to fight this?
I mean, that night I had to come home and deal with death. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. What do I do? And you start leaning on your faith.
That's
For someone who's not super faith-based, I mean, we grew up Catholic and
Yep.
we're kind of brought into a fabric of like, you pray, you be good,
cultural.
good,
It's cultural.
good things happen to you, or
Mhm.
you're supposed to do these things. So
Mhm.
you revert to this like, oh my God, I'm going to see this higher power that everybody talks about. Is this shit
Mhm.
real? Where am I going to go? Am I
Mhm.
going to just be this like aura of light floating around? I'm going to go see you, Deb, and then go see my mom. Like, what the hell is that? What's
Yeah.
going to happen? Right.
Yeah. Yes.
So you get into this headspace of like, this is it. I need to come to terms with
What's next?
what my life has become and what little time I have left. The good thing is I was at peace with there wasn't anything that I needed to do. Does that make sense? Which is
Yeah.
weird. Like
You
I was like,
you do
no,
you live your life. You live your life.
yeah. And I was like, I've been pretty good to people. Like I'm not a bad person. I didn't
Yeah.
feel any um feeling of like unfinished business.
Mhm.
I kind of was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna be cool. So once I went through 24 hours, 48 hours of like, this might be it, then kick-ass mode somehow came into play.
I was going to say, how did you go there without, and I know you and your personality to begin with, but easily we fall into victim, right? And we
Mhm.
fall into the why is me. And a lot of times that is actually, I'm a big believer in meditation and quantum physics. And, I'm very spiritual and religious. I know that if you go there, your chances of fighting it aren't going to be as good. My dad gave up. You didn't. Why didn't you?
I think a lot of it had to do with faith-based. I hate to say it, but
No, I want to hear it.
I think, getting into the mentality of like prayer, as cheesy as it sounds to some people, and I'm not a religious person extremely, right? I do believe there's a higher power, whatever, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
But when I tapped into this, like, God, this is it. These are the people that I want you to take care of.
Yeah.
This is the way I would want to go. And you start mentally
Yeah.
preparing yourself for all these things. So it was like one day I woke up like 2 days later with this empowerment of like, you know what? Don't go down like some little bitch. Like you've been given this time,
Mhm.
whether it's 2, 3, 7 months, a year, do something with it and don't just wither away. Do something while you have this short period of time. So it just, I felt like the 7 months that I was told, I could take it as you said, a victim mentality and just sit there and just weep and wither and be sad. Or I can take it as, oh my God, some people aren't even told they're given 7 months. Some people are just like, they die and that's it.
Yep.
Car accidents,
Yep.
murders, whatever, God forbid, whatever bad thing happens, they don't have that opportunity to say goodbye or do this or do that. Or so I took it as a blessing at that point and said, you know what? I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I have this time. Let's make the best of it. Let me do the best I can with chemo. Let me take every day as a gift, whether I feel like shit. And the days that I felt great, I was out with my friends and my family. And it was
Debbie, you
during,
make me cry. Like
yeah, it
you
was
make me
during
cry.
COVID, but I was bald at lunches and, at even with work, my clients, I was showing up bald and all fucked up and withering. And I'm like, let's go see houses. And I was taking every day as a godsend because that's really what it is,
I think though that
and
like that message to so many, and it's so inspiring. I mean, Debbie, you've always been inspiring. You inspire people all the time. That's why they're never going to not invite you to things, right? You're always going to be someone people look up to, and this is why I love you. This is why you're my family. But like hearing you say, like, you turned this into an opportunity. You saw the blessing in 7 months. You didn't look at the holy shit 7 months. You looked at and walked into it like, fuck yeah, I got 7 months, right?
Yeah.
Like that shift right there is why you kept going, right? Is why you
But
kept
I think
fighting.
people need to understand that the power of like yourself and
Yes,
your mentality
yes.
is so important, because I do believe it did have an impact on how my treatment um you know affected me, to be honest with you,
Did
because the chances were so slim that when we started seeing progress in treatment, I didn't it's very rare that after chemo with the aggressive type of cancer that I had, that you are completely cancer free after your last session.
and for those listening, you got that. You got that,
Yeah,
right?
I got the cancer-free diagnosis. I still do treatment now, immunotherapy, and I take cancer pills every day. Those are PARP inhibitors because it's such an aggressive cancer, where the likelihood is, will it come back? It's a matter of when, right? So if I live a better lifestyle, which, as I don't drink anymore because
Yep.
that is a big carcinogen.
Yep.
Do I love alcohol? Yes. Do I, enjoy a nice glass of wine? Yes. My doctor says I can have 5 a month, but my doctor didn't go through chemo and almost die like I did. So it's not worth it to
No,
me.
no, it's not worth it.
So I
No,
celebrate, like, maybe I have 5 glasses a year.
there we go.
So even though I can have 5 glasses a month, I choose to have 5 glasses a year. I'll do a couple of glasses on my birthday.
Yeah.
I'll have a glass during Christmas and then during New Year's, and that's it.
Let me ask you this. Um, did it change your identity? Since I'm doing identity coaching, the conversations I'm having on this platform are about identity. Did getting the cancer and going through this change how you identify yourself? Does it feel like it's a
Um,
part of your identity?
yes, I mean, you identify as a survivor, right? Like, cancer patients are considered survivors.
Mm-hmm.
So inadvertently, um, I'm now a cancer survivor, which is a new take on life, a new lease on life, a new outlook on life. Um, when I was given the diagnosis, I was like, you kind of get into this like anger mode for a minute, but now I see it as a blessing because it's changed my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the most healthy person, even post cancer. I'm not the healthiest, but you stay away from things that you have a second voice in your head. Do you want to live? Do you remember what you just went through?
Mm-hmm.
Put that down. Don't eat that deli meat. It's not good for you. You have this like second
Yeah.
voice that sort of keeps you in check and keeps you in line, because you don't forget. Cancer patients don't forget how hard chemo was. I don't care if it's 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now. It's so grueling that it's impossible to forget. Um,
What is your
so
biggest like positive takeaway from going through this?
we're lucky to be here. I mean, honestly, like, when you see TikTok videos and YouTube videos and Instagram videos about how we're like a billionth of a what chance
Yeah.
of us being, sperm to egg to human.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be here, make your life count. Even if it's doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
important. If this reaches
Yeah.
one
Reaching someone.
person,
Yes.
make your life count. And if you're not as public as we are, just in your inner circle, ask somebody how they feel today.
Yep.
Tell somebody that you're there if they need you. Like,
Yes.
those little
Yes.
things that you may not think matter to someone, they can mean the world to the other person. You could
Yeah.
change someone's life by just smiling, honestly.
It becomes more valuable. The time, your day, your people, you recognize that you can lose them at any moment, right? It becomes real.
Absolutely.
And your day becomes so present. And it's been, again, inspiring to watch you and your I think your message, Debbie, that's most important to me for those to hear, because I watched my dad give up. He didn't have the fight. He fell into, I can't do this. And as soon as he did, Deb, it was done.
Well, here's the thing about folks that when they say that, I don't think it's a matter of giving up. I think it's so physically hard.
That's it. That's what he said.
That the strongest person, because I'm sure your dad was Superman.
Total.
And you've known me and you know that I'm a pretty strong person.
Yes.
It just becomes so physically, like there were times, I'm not going to sit here and BS, when I was my second session of cancer, I didn't want to go anymore.
Yeah, that's where he got. Yeah.
Of chemo. I just couldn't do it. And I told everybody, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do 4 more rounds of this. It's so hard.
Yeah. And I don't know what that's like. Yeah.
Like you're killing yourself, right? You can't see the other side of it because it's so painful. It really, really, really is. And if it wasn't for, I think, just prayer and just like begging God to get me through, I don't think I would have had the wherewithal to continue.
My pastor said a few months ago, and it stuck with me, and I've talked about it on here. He had a Sunday service, and he said, sometimes God, not that he does this on purpose, it's not how it works, but sometimes in our hardest moments, in our moments of just, we have nothing else but to come to him, it is when we are closest to him. There's something about life that, like, it takes us being in the lowest of lows, in fear, in surrendering, that we actually seek him, which is wild, because we're not seeking him when it's all good and it's great and life's like abundant. We're not seeking him like that, right? So we get into these situations, and all of a sudden, that's when people, when the plane's going down, people are praying, right? When we get sick, we're praying, because God is like, I need you guys to, so even now that this is over, where are you at with your faith still as you continue to go? And he's blessed you with a life.
I pray every night. I think I'm thankful that I'm freaking here, and I was given an extended amount of time. So I'm thankful for that every day. I wake up in gratitude, and I go to sleep in gratitude, because when you think about like what you could have left, you can't help but be grateful to be around, right? I'm super grateful to be driving to Palm Springs tomorrow and scream in front of 3,000 queer kids and have a blast.
Right? Who love you, and you love doing it. So like you get to, it's like somebody said to me one day when I was complaining about something in a coaching session, they were coaching me in school, and they said, Romi, change that narrative. It's not, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. It's, I get to do this. I get to wake up. I get to go to work. I get to do these things, because somebody out there doesn't get to do those.
100%. And like we should be thankful for the little things. Like I think going through what I went through, I'm thankful to get up and walk.
Yes.
Because I couldn't do that for so long. I'm grateful to walk my dog and to, hang out with my friends and go do the things that I wasn't able to do, just the little things. Not even the big grand things that I was, doing in life. It's just the small things. I miss eating Italian deli sandwiches. I miss those. Things like that, but so be grateful, like just to wake up in the morning. And as we would hear people say that, and I would just be like, oh, come on, you're being a Deb. No, it's true. Be grateful for your life.
Every morning, and I meditate every night, Debbie. And every time I tell even my client, like, end your day in gratitude. Start your day with like affirmations, right? Like it matters. It changes how you go about your day. You're not just
to touch upon this, because I've never been a meditating, affirmation type of person. Part of what I did and implemented in my cancer journey was every morning, wouldn't be long because I'm an impatient person, but like 2 minutes of closing my eyes, envisioning the cancer cells coming out of my body, envisioning that I was healing, envisioning that I was going to continue my business, things like all the positive things that I wanted to happen. Every morning before I would get up, I would be laying in bed, close my eyes. I would first thank the Lord that I woke up, and then I would have those thoughts. And what's crazy is through my cancer journey, I was able to sustain my business and do things as if I was not even sick, which is wild.
Yes.
And then scale my business post-cancer to more success than I have ever had pre-cancer, which is insane.
Do you follow Joe Dispenza?
No.
Okay, Joe Dispenza is a massive. I'm going to send you his link. I'm a big fan of him, but he's huge. He's one of the biggest guys out there. He has a whole documentary on meditation and cancer survivors, and he actually does an entire study that you can watch. It's mind-blowing. You should watch it. And it talks about how those positive thoughts physically, he shows you it change and protects cancer cells. It protects cancer cells by thought, by meditation and thought. He studies people with cancer that do survive it, and they show the cells, Debbie, changing, protecting with prayer and positive affirmations.
I do believe that, because your mind is obviously a part of your body. It controls your vessel.
It's
and
fascinating.
I think for me, just going into every day feeling like, because you're gonna feel like shit, right? Like chemo's gonna hurt and it sucks. It just sort of set a precedence that I had to get through that to get to the other side, to feel the way I did that morning, which was if I felt good. Just kind of keeping that positive mentality that you're gonna feel like shit for 3 to 5 days, but then you're gonna feel the way you feel right now.
Yep.
So imagine that, all this poison in your body is getting rid of all of those horrible cells. And it worked. I mean, people say it and some people don't believe it, but for me, it did. It did. The mental shift and being in that positive frame of mind really did help.
I have a big belief. I'm super out there now, Debbie, with my, my quantum physics and my faith and all that, and all the stuff I study, and I believe in it. But I do believe that cancer also comes from, they've proven it, they've talked about it, the stress that we live in, the negativity that we are carrying, right? The poison in our words and our thoughts, the things we consume mentally, physically, spiritually, create these cancers in us, right? People are dying from stress. So as you see the positive impact of a positive mind, setting time for that positive mind, mental workout, spirituality that help push you through this, you see now, after even coming through this and continuing, that staying in that space is just as important on a daily level.
Absolutely.
Because that is what fights the illness, right? And encouraging people that before you get to the place of where you had to be, focus on staying in that positive space and prayer to protect yourself, right? To protect yourself from these.
We don't worry. We don't give our mind the respect that we should.
Yep.
But your mental well-being in any journey in life, no matter what it is, will carry you through, right? So you have to be in a position where you're open to accept positivity and exude that too, and to be able to get through stuff. Right. And like you mentioned this earlier, we fall into victim mentality. And I feel that if you do that, you're succumbing to whatever challenge is in front of you. If you sort of switch the narrative in your head, in your mind, and in your daily routine, especially the way you start your day, I think you'll see positive changes in life. It's just inevitable. It's just the way, I'm living proof of it. And I'm not a person that, meditates. I never even knew what the benefit of that was. Right. I just found myself in a place of desperation, and like anything, tell me what'll work. I don't care. You want me to drink this tea and you're going to tell me it's going to cure me? Let me try it. I shouldn't do this because it's going to cure me. Let me try it. And I found a formula that got me out of this mess and got me into a place of health and wellness that I do better. Yes. I need to eat healthier and exercise more and do more things. We're all human, and, I choose to work a lot and not take care of myself on that level, which I need to do better at. There's always room for improvement and growth. Right. But I think people need to really see the power that they have within themselves
That's what, yes.
to be able to elevate their lives, you know?
Joe Dispenza says, change your personality, you change your reality. And it's like a quote that I live by. You change your personality, you change your reality. And what that means when I'm even like coaching is like, change how you live your life, how you see your life, what you want it to be. And then your reality can become that, right?
I
So,
agree.
yeah, that's how you make your reality. If you say, I'm a victim, this happened, then that's what your reality is going to be. You're going to live in that, right? We have
I
choices.
agree.
If we choose to say, I'm a fighter, God gave me this, I can get through this, I'm going to give it my all, your reality is going to look like a fight, right? We have these choices. I've been through, like, many
Yeah.
ups and downs and hells and back. And I know for me as well, meditation and mind over matter and my faith, right? Which, I've always been vocal about, that is what saves me and keeps me happy and going. And when the world is against me, I have my own armor because I'm internally working, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's cool. I'm good. My reality is going to look its way because I spend time in creating what that looks like. And so do you. You spend time in your abundance of money, right? In your abundance of family, in your abundance of friends and support, because that's your reality. You created that.
And I think a lot of folks feel that, a lot of mental work is like floof and they don't think that it's any type of benefit.
Yep.
I'm a person that always says I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And you know this, I've always been
I
like,
know.
I'm busy.
I
I don't
know.
have time. I have
Uh-huh.
to go run to do this and run to do that.
Yep.
Um, it's important.
Yep.
It's important. Like for me, and like I said, every morning I wake up and I'm like, my God, it feels so, no matter what hurts,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm still doing treatments, immunotherapy and stuff, and it does suck. Dude, I'm freaking happy to be able to do this with you. I'm happy that
Yeah.
I have 3 appointments after this.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
happy that I'm busy. I'm so grateful that it's I have
You have
zero
time.
complaints, you
Yeah. And you
know?
and you have time. I think they always say, even with health, like, I'm a freak about healthy eating and workout. I love, because I've seen cancer, it's real. So I'm
Yeah.
super aggressive with making sure my daughter eats right. That I don't want to get cancer. I don't want to go through it,
And you're
right?
doing all the right things to stay away
Right.
from it. Yeah.
I don't drink, right? I'm a year sober again. I eat super healthy. I raise my daughter in that, because if we don't do it, eventually the world is going to force us to do it in ways we don't want to have to do it.
Agreed.
Okay. So when you
Agreed.
say, I don't have time, I don't have time, some point in your life, God's going to make it where you have no choice but to have time to face these things.
Agreed. Agreed. And like you said, I think Steve Jobs has that quote where he says, your food is your medicine. If
It is
not, your
your
medicine is going to be
medicine.
your food,
That's it.
right?
It's
Your
it.
medicine is going to be your food. So, you know, like I said, I'm not the healthiest person. You are super in
I,
tune with,
yeah.
you've always been that way. I remember when this is over a decade ago, when you made a shift of getting really into fitness.
Mhm.
And, then especially you've always been pretty food healthy, but super food healthy after Frankie.
That's,
And then you're
yeah.
like, no, I'm not. And then also with your products at home and all the things, dude, I even back then was like, Romi's being extreme. But now I have to live my life like that because
Yeah.
of medical purposes, right?
Yep.
So I can't use a freaking Clorox wipe and
No,
put toxins
no.
and so these are things that we don't realize because of the world we live in, that we were put into that this is normal stuff.
I'm
But
glad you brought that up, because even like Frankie came home a week ago, she had to sign a note from school that allowed her to use Clorox wipes in class, right? She had to have a note from the parents to release this. So clearly they know it's not great, or why would they
yeah,
ask for a parent? And I tell her, no, baby, mommy's going to get you these clean ones. Here's a cleaner option.
exactly.
So you're not using those chemicals all day and putting them in your blood and all that stuff. And she's looking at me, Debbie, like I am out of my mind. I'm the weird mom. Just let me live my life. Let me eat my
I mean, I
shit.
thought you were the weird
Yes,
friend.
I
I'm
know.
not gonna lie. I was like, damn, this bitch is being extreme with all her cleaning, making your cleaning
I did.
products and all this shit. And I'm like, Romy is ridiculous.
But
And
Debbie, what we
look,
put in our bodies and mentally physically, food, you know that. And I remember visiting you for the holidays when you were coming out and you're like, Debbie, I'm living like this. I'm listening to you outside. Tell me about how you're living. My heart was just like so happy to see you like really aware of like what you're putting in your body. We don't
Yeah,
realize until it happens. And I think
agreed.
watching my father, which has been a very hard thing for me, I'm still recovering from it. Watching him die of this put a fear in me of what do we put in our bodies, right? He got it from Agent Orange. So some chemicals were
Yeah.
put into him, right? And then the system, the country we live in, right? I'm not being like cuckoo, I'm not, I don't care, but like we put so much in our bodies and it's okay. And then we need
No,
doctors
a
and we
lot of
need
our
to be
food
sick.
and products
Yeah.
are banned in other countries, which
That's
is crazy.
right. And so then I'm getting sick, right? And so the more you speak up on this, and thank you, someone listening, go do some research, go get healthy, go look at ways you can like take care of yourself because the last thing you want is to end up there and go, man, like now I'm aware. Now
Just
I'm
use
aware.
just use cleaner products. Use,
Yeah.
you know,
Eat cleaner foods, like less processed foods, whole foods, real
well, there's
food.
like the big three that is known to blatantly cause cancer. Alcohol is one of them.
Yep.
It's a huge carcinogen. As much as
Yep.
I love alcohol,
Yep.
I can't drink it or it's going to come back, and
Yep.
I don't want it to, so I can't drink. Then, deli meats and processed meats, which is like sausage, bacon, you know, I mean, my favorite foods in the world, because
Yeah.
I'm a rush person. So I'd be like, let me grab a sandwich. Let me um, can't eat those,
No.
and exercise is the number three that is preventative to help you stay away from cancer. So those are the three things that the doctor's like, you want to stay cancer free, don't drink, don't, eat processed foods, and get on a treadmill every once in a while, go for a walk.
When you said I got like this after Frankie, I'm not leaving my kid, right? My fight is I'm not leaving my kid. I know what it's like to be a kid left. I'm not leaving my kid. So everything I do, I tell myself and I tell anybody, what is your why? Why are you living like this? Why are you choosing to do this? If you know your why, your how doesn't,
It's easy.
it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. I know why I work out like I do. I know why I eat like I do. I know why I don't drink. The how I do it is easy because I look at my daughter's face, right?
Yeah.
I know what she needs from
And
me.
then, like you said, you know what you went through when your dad was sick. And even though it was with Agent Orange, part of it was genetic, it
Yes,
passed on
yes,
to your
my
brother.
brothers.
And so at the end of the day, I think, you're giving yourself the
Debbie,
full
I don't
fighting
know.
chance.
I will never know, and they will never know if that will seep into me or us at
Yeah.
some point. We're the second generation of those soldiers. So
Yeah.
it has affected me and my brothers. I know I was at high risk when I was pregnant because of it. They had to watch for it because I come from my dad, right? And so why am I gonna play Russian roulette with it?
You can't.
I,
You
I
can't.
can't. No. So like, who knows? I could hit 50, right? Like him. And he was the healthiest, this and that. And then he's gone, right? Like the reminder that life is so precious, the reminder that like we get to wake up and have this conversation, Debbie, that here we are a year or two later, get to jump on a podcast together, that's a blessing, right? We could have
Yeah,
not had
it
this.
really is.
We could have not had this. You could have not been able to get up and do this. My last question that would be like the biggest question, and I know you have to go, and I'm so grateful that you're still selling your fucking houses, Debbie, and making your money and heading to Dinosaur, and
I'm doing
doing the
all the fun
things.
things.
You're doing it all. And I want to give a big shout out before this last question to your partner, who you post all the time. You kill me, but she
I
really
love her,
was,
Sophia. She's great.
Sophia was your rock through this, right?
Yeah, no, she really was. So we had when I got sick, my mom obviously was like, "You're coming home. I'm gonna take care of you." And Sophia and I had a conversation about it, and she's like, I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
you're my partner. We were literally just like a year into our relationship. She's significantly older, I mean, younger than me. Jesus, I'm older than her.
Yeah.
She's significantly younger than me. And I kind of felt like, does she want to deal with this, like with me? Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But she was a rock star. Like, she literally
She
advocated,
was.
went to every appointment, took care of me when I had chemo, knew what to give me, was really strict with my diet, my supplements. Like, I mean, huge. The reason, a big part of the reason why I was able to come out of the other side. Yeah.
And that's why I just wanted to make sure we recognize her, because
And she's still here.
yeah, and she's beautiful, but she's also so smart, right? Like she's so
Yeah.
smart. And
She's
so
a pre-law student.
yeah, but you had her
She's
voice
smart.
there when you were weaker, right? Or when you couldn't ask the questions, or when you couldn't find the food and the things that you needed because you were fighting this. You had this person who selflessly was loving you and asking those questions and getting you what you needed. And so that was so beautiful to be able to have.
It was life changing, literally, and life
Yeah.
saving.
Yes. Yes. To be able to, and when I got to meet her and come home and see that dynamic between you guys when we were in your backyard at your mom's house, I was just like, well, this girl, like, she's like in it. She's like here fucking for it, like selflessly loving you through this. And that's all any of us want, in those times, like, is for somebody to like be that. So just
and we went from like, partying, traveling the world, having this like relationship, to all of a sudden I'm bedridden and fighting this, close to death.
Yeah.
And, even after, because it's such a emotionally turbulent journey, even afterward, I'm like, are we going to make this through? Or she, I never had a doubt that she would be around, but I was like, at her age, I couldn't have done that.
No.
And, she's just a remarkable person. Like, there's not much else I can say other than she's wise beyond her years.
Yes.
She's not the normal, late 20s girl. She's literally just an old soul.
Mm-hmm.
And she, saved my life through this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like she really was a pivotal reason as to why I was able to come out through this. Yeah.
And that's what I just want like those to hear, like when people see you and you're public and you share it and you've been on many platforms. I know everybody in the community has reached out to you and had you share your story, and it helps people. God uses you. He's always used you, Deb. He's always used you.
I know, but he's always blessed me.
Yes.
He's always blessed me too, Deb, because there's no way I would have thought I would be in the position that I'm in, especially post cancer. I've always been a businesswoman, but post cancer, I kind of felt like, dude, I'm given the second chance, and I've been very lazy with what I can do with my potential.
Yeah.
So now I'm a club owner. I purchased the Dragonfly in Hollywood, which is one of our old school stomping grounds.
Yep.
And I'm in escrow to purchase the executive suite in Long Beach.
So, oh my God, Deb.
Yep.
I mean, it only makes sense that you would be an owner to these clubs that are our historic lands of like our parties and our communities and our generations, right? Like that you would be a part of that, and that like God has been using you and blesses you and blesses you and blesses you, but you continue to put it back in. You continue.
Yeah, and I think right now what I'm trying to do is just, the first time around in life, because I see it in two parts. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really leaving much of a legacy. Mm-hmm. And so this time around, I'm like, you know what? Of course, it would be clubs, Deb. It would be clubs, even though. But of course. I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't sober, and if I wasn't older, and if I wasn't wiser. But I want to give back to the community and leave something behind, and leave some sort of legacy. And it's always been me having a good time with our community, and that's what it's going to be.
There's nothing that makes more sense, Debbie, that everybody, like when the time comes that you aren't here and we're not here, right? That like the next generation is in there having a great time, expressing themselves, being who they want to be, partying in a club that was, that's yours, right? Because you've always been a big positive promoter, not in the party sense, of people just being themselves and having fun. You've loved me through every personality,
every phase, Dad,
every phase I've ever had.
Every phase.
You've always been a
supporter, every hair color,
free lip, everything, like all the things, right? Like you have loved me through every evolution, and you've done that.
Well, you're
so many.
What people don't know about you, because I've known the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything. You are just like a person who exudes love. Like you always find the good in people. And you always try to, which is what leads you to being such a lover, right? You're just like, and that's your thing. And some folks can see it as Romi being Romi, and if they don't know you on that level, they don't know that you are just selflessly just a giver. And I think that's the thing that a lot of folks don't know. And they see you being this, person who is out there in relationships. And that's not the case. The case is that you open yourself up instantaneously when you connect with somebody. And when you do that, that evolves into a relationship. And then, the journey is what the journey is. We don't know what that is until you're in it, right?
I love you and you make me want to cry because you know me and you see me. I think you and Jenny are two of like the only people in my life that just truly get
Well,
me.
because we're your friends. We're your old school friends.
Like you get me, you see me. And
even though you had a relationship with Jenny, she was your friend first.
Yeah. Oh, and will always be my friend.
And that's why she's your friend now.
Yes.
If you were a bad person in a relationship, she would not be your friend.
No.
So people, for all the people out there talking shit or saying things, they don't know you, and we do. We've known you for decades, and we know the real you, the real Romi. And that's the thing. Your problem is your strongest suit, which is that you just love people blindlessly and aimlessly, and you see the good in every single soul, which to me is not your problem. That's your superpower. So
I love you. I'm writing my book right now, and this is why I love you, Debbie. I'm writing my book, finally, my story. I'm trying to finish it. I'm writing all the time right now to get it on paper. And in one of the chapters, I literally said, my superpower is love. My superpower.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and I wrote that, and you just said that. So that's a confirmation to like just that it is my superpower. And I told myself, no matter how many times it hurts or my heart hurts, I'm never gonna let life steal my ability to love the way that I love. I'm just not gonna let it do it.
And here's the thing, like the journey to find your person.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, like I'm obviously 50 this year, and I am never been married, and I don't have a child.
Yeah.
But I've had a slew of relationships.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the difference between, there isn't, right?
Yeah, no.
You're just a little bit more open with your life. And when you love, you love hard and you love big. And in your world, that love is that's it. That's going to be it. So
big
to me,
it's till the day I die.
To me, with the exception of Jenny, it's been the people that you've chosen, who you have not really chosen. Your heart has, who have been the failures.
Yes, I would agree with you. And I think that like that love for me, this is going to come to an end here. So I'm going to end it. Like, it's my love for you as my friend. It's my love as a mom. It's why I love the way that I do as a mom. It's the way I love my mom, right? My brothers, like the people in my life. If you do receive love from me, you just know you're getting loved, right? You're getting loved hard.
As your friend, I don't want you to give up on love. I want you to go out there, have fun and date. Yeah. Go out there and
trust me, I'm a date. I'm like, who's listening? Someone just take my ass to dinner and show me what a date is like.
Go out there and date, Deb. Find yourself, go out there and date, have fun, enjoy life. You work so hard as a mom and as a friend and as a mentor to many, that I think that what you need to do is just have fun, have fun and go out there,
I love you. I'm so grateful for this time with you. I'm so grateful that God keeps blessing you in my life. I will see you when I am home. We are coming home for Thanksgiving. We're going to take Frankie to
I will see you.
Yeah, we're going to take Frankie home for holidays. Jenny and I are doing a road trip, so we'll figure out linking up.
Let's do it. And for everybody out there, please get yourselves checked. Get your mammograms, your pap smears, whatever it is. As women, if you feel anything off or weird about your body and a doctor brushes you off, please get a second opinion. Please advocate for yourself. Doctors are humans. They don't always get it right. I got so many DMs of folks telling me that, their doctor said that their cramps or whatever, then they ended up with polyps or something serious. So please, please, please know that your doctors are humans just as we are, and they don't always get it right. You know your body, you know what you feel. Please advocate for yourself. That's my advisement. And stay healthy, happy, be positive, and live the best life you possibly can. We only have one.
That's it. I love you, Debbie, so much. Thank you.
I love you too. All right, take care.
Go kill it today.
I will. All right, take care.